Grand Rising family, Elder O back with you once again. We want to deal with this woman in the book of Revelation that calls herself or goes by the title Queen. The book of Revelation does not speak in mysteries to hide the truth. It speaks in symbols to reveal it to those who have an ear to shema or hear. So in today's lesson, we are confronting a woman, a harlot, who calls herself a queen. This is not about one person. It is about a system, a power, and the deception that Yahuwah warned his people to come out of. So let us go to the scriptures and let the scriptures expose who this woman is that calls herself a queen, and primarily in today's short lesson, her attributes. So let us start off today's lesson, family, over in the book of Hazun or Revelations chapter 18. Verse 1. And after these things, I saw another Malachim or angel come down from Shamaim or heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become a habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. That word fornication goes back to the Greek word porneia. You see? And the kings of the earth have committed fornication or porneia with her. So notice that this woman is not a virtuous or a righteous woman. And all the kings of the earth have committed fornication or porneia with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from Shamaim or heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye or you be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached up to Shamaim or heaven, and Elohim have remembered her iniquities. Reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she has filled, fill to her double. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen. I am getting ready to share with you momentarily the original meaning of this word queen. I sit as a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahuwah Elohim who judgeth her. Look at verse 9, family. And the kings of the earth who have committed porneia, fornication, and live deliciously with her shall weep and wail over her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So this queen has committed porneia or fornication with many of the merchants of the earth. So this family, Mishpachah, is not a virtuous woman. Did you know, family, that the word queen was not originally in the New Testament, the Kohanim Greek manuscripts, and it was not originally in the Abari or Hebrew manuscripts? Let me show you what was in the original Greek manuscripts. When looking behind the Greek word in the Koine Greek New Testament, you don't see the word queen. It's Basilisshah. I don't want to mispronounce it, but look at the bottom of the screen there. It says queen. So in the original New Testament that was written in Koine Greek, the word queen was not there. Then when you go to the original covenant, the Torah, in which they call the Old Testament, and you look behind the word queen, in the original Hebrew, it is Malka, and it is the feminine form of Malak, meaning king. So the word queen was not originally in the Abari or Hebrew scriptures, and it was not originally in the Koine Greek. And what we have to remember thus far when reading Revelations chapter 18, that this woman that referred to herself was as a queen was a loose woman, respectfully, because all the merchants of the earth had committed porneia or fornication with her. You see, the original Abari or Hebrew language and the original Koine Greek language are concrete languages, but English, in which the biblical manuscripts were translated to English is abstract, meaning one word can have several different meanings. Let me show you what the original meaning of the word queen is. Many of you will be shocked, and you may not want to refer to yourselves by such titles as queen after today's short lesson. As you see on the screen here, the way we spell the modern day word queen is Queen, or it can be spelled Quean or Kwen or Qween. And look at what it says here. Archaic, an overly forward, imputed woman, shrewd, a hussy. Archaic, you see it there, a loose woman will keep it clean. You see? So let me share this. Here we go.
Queen, 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 queen.
And read along with me. Disparaging. You see it there, specifically a woman who engages in loose acts, especially sexual intercourse in exchange for pay. A woman who is a smex worker, you see? So it's not a good title. Then you see there, chiefly Scotland, woman, and then see on the bottom there, hussy, trollop, you see it there, Cyrene, Jezebel, there it goes, a loose woman, a wench, you see it there. I'm pausing with my words because I'm trying to keep it clean and make sure that I don't have any issues with my channel. That's the only reason you hear me pausing with my words. Look this up yourselves, family, the origin of the word queen. You see, Old English, queen, a woman, a female serf, a hussy, you see it there, a loose woman. So the original meaning of the word queen was a loose woman who exchanged her body, porneia, for favors. So this was not originally a good meaning. Let's go to the book of Nahum to see some attributes of this woman who calls herself a queen. Book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 4. Listen, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, you see, queen, the mistress of witchcraft that selleth nations through her whoredom, and families through her witchcraft. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahuwah of hosts, and I will discover thy skirt upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and I will set thee as a gazing stock. Book of Jeremiah, or Jeremiah, chapter 7. Let's look at verse 17. Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other Elohims, that they may provoke me to anger. Do they provoke me to anger, saith Yahuwah? Do not they provoke themselves to confusion of their own faces? Therefore saith the Master Yahuwah, behold, my anger and my fury shall be poured out upon this place, upon man, and upon beast, and upon the trees of the field, and upon the fruits of the ground, and it shall burn and shall not be quenched. So as we see thus far, family, the original meaning of the word queen was a loose woman, an unclean woman. Book of Hazun, or Revelations chapter 17, verse 1. And there came one of the 7 Malachims called angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great harlot. You see it there, W-H-O-R-E, harlot, that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed porneia, fornication with, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her porneia, or fornication. Look at what it says in verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the loose woman, the queen, sitteth, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Remember, this queen, this woman was loose. She didn't care who she was with, as long as she got paid for her services. And payment didn't always be or mean monetary. Doing my best to keep it clean and respectful. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 1. Jeremiah 3 and 1. They say, if a man put away his wife or Isha, and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return to her again? Shall not that land, which is symbolic of her body, be greatly polluted? Why? By the seed of another man. But thou hast played the harlot, you see, with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith Yahuwah. Lift up thine eyes unto the high places, and see where thou hast not been lying with. In the ways hast thou sat for them as the Arabian in the wilderness, and thou hast polluted the land, your body, with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness. Therefore the showers have been withholden, and there have been no latter rain, and thou hast a loose woman, a queen's forehead, and thou refusest to be ashamed. So this queen, this loose woman who done been all over the place, turned like a doorknob, used and abused, she refuses to be ashamed of her past acts. And this could be both spiritual and physical. Let's see some more attributes of this loose woman that commits fornication, porneia. Let's see some of her activities and see, can they be identified in modern day society. Book of Jeremiah, or Jeremiah, chapter 4, Salakia, verse 30. What are you doing, you devastated ones? Why dress yourselves in scarlet and put on jewels of gold? Why highlight your eyes with makeup? You adorn yourselves in vain. Your lovers despise you. They want to delete you. So one of the attributes of a queen, a Jezebel, is she paints her face. She puts on makeup. Now, where did this practice of makeup come from? Let's go to the book of Enoch. Book of Enoch, chapter 8, verse 1. Moreover, Aziel, which is the name of a fallen one, taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, the fabrication of mirrors, and the workmanship of bracelets and ornaments, the use of paint, the beautifying of eyebrows, the use of stones, and every valuable and select kind, and all sorts of dyes, so that the world became altered. So the practice of makeup was taught by a demon, a fallen one, and all sorts of dyes, so that the world became altered. Impiety increased. Fornication, Pornea, the queen, Jezebel, fornication multiplied, and they transgressed, and corrupted all their ways. Book of Psalms 119, verse 104. So that practice was taught to women by a fallen Malachim, so-called angel, a demon. Look at verse 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. So that practice of painting your face is not kadosh. It's not set apart in what they call holy. Let us go to the book of 1 Kings chapter 16. 1 Kings chapter 16 verse 30. And Ahab, the son of Omri, did evil in the sight of Yahuwah above all that were before him. And it came to pass that if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, that he took to wife Jezebel, which is a queen, the daughter of Ethabal, the king of the Zidonians, and went and served Baal, which means the Lord family, and worshiped him. What are some of the things that this queen did? Let's go to the book of 2 Kings chapter 9, and let's pick it up at verse 30. What are some of the things that Jezebel did? 2 Kings chapter 9, verse 30. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it. And she did what? Painted her face, put on makeup and them fake eyelashes and all of this and that was taught by the demon, the fallen angel, Aziel. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face or put on makeup and tied her head and looked out at a window. And as Jehu entered at the gate, he said unto Zimri, peace or shalom, who slew his master. And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses, and he trode her underfoot. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink, and said, go see now this cursed woman, this queen, this hussy, this loose woman who paints her face to alter the way she looks, Yahuwah Elohim hates every false way. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink and said, go see this cursed woman and bury her, for she is the king's daughter. And when they went to bury her, they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hand. Let's go back up and look at verse 22 of this same chapter. And it came to pass when Joram saw Jehu that he said, it is peace, Jehu. And he answered, what peace? So long as the whoredoms of thy mother Jezebel and her witchcrafts are many. Can we now start to identify the spirit of Jezebel and the attributes of a queen in our modern day society? Absolutely. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 23. So the spirits of Jezebel, the queen, the loose woman, are not good, and they can be seen all throughout our modern day society, respectfully, even in the church. Ezekiel 23, and let's look at verse 14. And that she increased her whoredoms, for when she saw men portrayed upon the wall, images of the Chaldeans portrayed with vermilion, girded with the girdles upon the loins, exceeding in dyed attire upon their heads, all of them princes, to look to after the manner of the Babylonians of Chaldea, the land of their nativity. And as soon as she saw them with her eyes, the queen Jezebel, come on family, she dotted, meaning rode upon them, and sent messengers unto them into Chaldea, and the Babylonians came to her in the bed of love, and they defiled her with their whoredoms, and she was polluted with them, and her mind was alienated from them. So as the loose woman in the book of Hazun or Revelations had committed fornication with many merchants of the earth, as soon as a queen or harlot goes out and participates in porneia, fornication, with a whole host of men, she alienates her mind. And this could be both spiritual and physical, family. Verse 18, so she discovered her whoredoms and discovered her nakedness. Then my mind was alienated from her, like as my mind was alienated from her sister. Yet she multiplied her whoredoms in calling to remembrance the days of her youth, wherein she had played the harlot in the land of Mitzrayim, for she dotted or rode upon the paramours, whose flesh is the flesh of asses, and whose issues is like the issues of horses. This is some of the attributes of a queen. As I stated at the beginning of today's short lesson, the word queen was not originally in the original Hebrew and Abari manuscripts, and they were not in the original Koine Greek manuscripts in which you call New Testament. The word queen is not a good title. The daughters of Zion who are awakening, and to the Gentile women who are striving to live righteously, should never refer to themselves as a queen. Please go and study the origins of English words. I have a short clip I want to share with you, and I'll be back with you momentarily.
Barren. Today's definition of barren is unfruitful, bleak, and lifeless. Our children, as designated by our language, aren't even ours. Parents are a pair who rents. Our government governments, especially our courts, don't treat a parent's right to control and direct the upbringing of their child as a fundamental liberty. We're forced from a young age through many types of indoctrination, and our parents are helping in this process. Look at the word childhood.
Wow.
A hood is used to cloak and hide. The etymology of children is chill and dren. Chill means cold. Dren is a name meaning a strong and healthy individual. So children are strong individuals who must be chilled, made cold. Stay with me, this will all come together.
Okay.
In Ballantyne's 1948 Law Dictionary,
Listen.
the term human being says sea monster. When we see monster, we get the definition, a human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal.
Wow.
In the Oxford New English Dictionary of 1901, a human is defined as belonging or relative to man, as distinguished from God or superhuman beings.
Yahuwah.
So these definitions are telling us we're monsters. The word live backwards is evil.
Whoa.
Our language is telling us we're born as monsters who are bleak and lifeless, to a pair who rents us out to the government and other corporations that indoctrinate us. Our childhood is spent under a cloak
Wake up,
of evil
Jacob.
when we live. Our sentences are made up of words. The word sisters in Greek
Words are
mythology were
swords.
fates or witches who controlled the fates of man. Every word we say directly affects our reality
Yes.
and ultimately our fate. The Egyptian deity Thoth is said to have invented language and writing. The original purpose was to use words for magic. The words
That's right.
write and write are pronounced the same. A rite is a ceremony or ritual. Whenever we're writing with words or speak, we're initiating a ritual. Books contain chapters. A chapter often refers to a sect of a secret society or religious order.
Wow.
To page someone is to summon them. Pages in books made of words are summoning
Wake
things
up,
to
Jacob.
enslave or imprison our souls. The word
Please
grammar
wake
comes
up.
from the French word grammaire or grimoire. Grimoires were ancient magic books which contained instructions to summon demons. We wake up each morning. A wake is a funeral party held for the dead.
Wow.
At the beginning of each day, we say to each other, good morning. Mourning is what you do when you're sad for the loss of someone or something, by calling it a good morning.
Wow.
It's pretty masochistic if you ask me.
It is.
We then go to work at our occupation. When we occupy something, it can mean being occupied by a military force, like in war. Many occupations are focused on money and the dog-eat-dog mentality.
Wow.
The dollar bill comes first before the environment or even each other. Therefore, we are committing war against each other. During each day we work our occupation. We are the military occupiers. An urn is for the ashes of the dead. For the average 9-to-5 worker, it would have to be one of the weekdays in order to earn a living. I agree, you would have to be in a weekdays to earn a living. During the week, we become weaker and weaker until finally it's the weekend. Weekend has no power.
Wake up, Jacob. The word queen is not a good meaning, and it was not in the original Hebrew and Greek manuscripts. Words are swords. They have power. Another quick example, the origin of the word mortgage. Mortgage comes from the Old French and it means death pledge. Mortgage meaning, please look these things up. I don't even like to utter these things out of my mouth, only for teaching purposes. What about the word nice? Look it up. From the original, it meant foolish, ignorant, frivolous, senseless, clumsy, weak, needy, simple, stupid, silly, foolish, literally not knowing. So if someone says that's a nice man or a nice woman, they're literally not speaking well of you. Another one, look up the word blessed. It originally means to sprinkle pig's blood on a pagan sacrifice. So the origin of the word queen is not good, and you see her attributes that she sit on many waters, and all the merchants of the earth have committed porneia or fornication with her. Let us go to the book of Acts chapter 2. Acts chapter 2 verse 38. Then Kepha or Peter said unto them, Repent and be baptized, every one of you, in the name of Yahushua the Messiah, for the forgiveness of sins, and ye shall receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh, or what they call the Holy Spirit. Book of Yeshayahu, or Isaiah chapter 1. Chapter 1, Isaiah chapter 1, verse 16. Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil, learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. Come now and let us reason together, saith Yahuwah. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If you be willing and obedient, ye or you shall eat the good of the land. But if ye or you refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured for the sword, or by the sword, for the mouth of Yahuwah have spoken it. So, family, the Most High Yahuwah did not expose her, the queen, Mystery Babylon, to entertain us. He exposed her to warn us. She says, I sit a queen and am no widow, but Yahuwah says her judgment shall come in 1 hour. This lesson is about separation and obedience and truth. And the commandment is clear. Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins. Much ahab, family. Like, share, and subscribe. Elder O signing off. Until next time, much love and respect to all of humanity. Shalom.